Hey guys, it's Lizzie. So I'm live streaming on my Instagram and YouTube channel at the same time. I don't live stream on my Instagram that much, so I thought it would be cool to just do on multiple platforms. So today I'm going to talk about how bipolar affects my relationship with God. I think this is a very interesting topic. I was doing an interview yesterday and I mentioned hyper spirituality, and my subscriber interviewing me looked very interested with what I was saying. So I thought I would talk about it more. So in mania, you feel closer to God than you do human beings. And it's almost like you don't want to be around people because you just want to be around God constantly. So I would describe it as wanting to spend hours in prayer, hours reading scripture, just being alone with God and like crying with how peaceful and joyful you feel. And I would say that that amount of peace and joy I feel when I'm manic is like unlike anything I feel now that I'm medicated and am less manic. So it's just being with God all the time. And the reason I went on so many strong was that me? Yes, Travis, the guy who interviewed me. Go follow him for sure for his podcast. Hello, hi Lizzie, hi Crossing the Trail, hi Tanisha. So like the reason I went on really strong antipsychotics in a couple years ago is when I started dating my boyfriend, because I wanted to have more connection with people. And I think with friends and best friends, it wasn't as close a connection. But when it comes to like a romantic relationship and my relationship with my boyfriend, it was like I couldn't connect with him because I was so connected to God, which seems really weird. But the way hyper spirituality is, you just feel like so much closer to God, and you don't want to be around people because you just want to be praying all the time, reading scripture all the time, at mass all the time, at church all the time, like worship events every single night. You just want like constant God, and it literally pulls you away from people, which I find really interesting. So hi Gyro, hi Solus, hi Seraphin, hi Marley. I love the amount of work you put into your content. Thank you. I have so much fun with YouTube. It's like my number one passion. So it's all really, really fun. Hi Naomi, hi Amy, hi Melanie, hi Katie. You look stunning, Lizzie. Keep up the good work. God blessed. Fighting to stay focused and not depressed when visiting my brother in hospice. How do you connect with God when facing tragedy? That's really hard. I think that when I'm going through something really hard, I pray and pray and pray and I cry and I like rant at God and I get angry at God. And there's a lot of psalms that are lament psalms and anger psalms. And so I find that when I can just bring all those emotions to God and cry and cry and cry, then I feel in Philippians 2, it taught 2:14 and 15, it talks about the peace that surpasses all understanding. So in every single situation, I feel that peace. Amy, thank you for the donation. The pair is so cute. How are you guys doing? I'm reading comments from here as well, streaming on both platforms. Hi, Lizzie. Thank you for everything. I learn about only faith and I learn English with you. Yeah, that's so interesting. So literally so many people have told me that they've learned English while watching my videos. And I think it will help you learn English so well because I talk so fast, which is also a symptom in mania. And so I think that because I talk so fast, it's almost like it's so much harder to learn. So if you can listen to me talk in English and understand it, you can listen to anyone else talk. So, hi, Lizzie. How's it going? Am the guy that on your Instagram live chat you, and remember, didn't realize my bedroom and the camera on me and everyone on the chat was crackling up. Oh my gosh. So another time on Instagram live, on Instagram live, you can like invite people on and then like talk to each other. And so this person was on and it was literally like filming, like he was sitting on his bed and it was filming like his entertainment center and the floor the entire time. And I thought he just didn't want his face to be on camera. But then it turns out he didn't realize that the camera wasn't facing him. It was so ridiculous. I was just like, oh, he doesn't want to be on camera. Did you go to Pepperdine? Yes, I went to Pepperdine University for my undergrad. I got a degree in philosophy. I also took like 15 classes in the religion department. So I have a lot of respect for Pepperdine. I don't think that their disability services and the way they deal with mental illness, at least in my majors with my professors, The philosophy department was fine, but the religion department was not okay. A lot of professors denied my symptoms, told me that I was essentially making it up, didn't give me extra time to do assignments and tests. And disability services successfully lost my information and lost the paperwork I turned in. So it was like a giant mess. So I feel like Pepperdine needs to do a lot more training to understand how to deal with mental illness. So always Catholic night. Thank you for the donation. You fast talker, you. Does mania or depression ever involve things like panic attacks? Sometimes when I have a panic attack, I feel the opposite of what you're saying, like I'm separated from God. So some people get anxiety with depression, and my therapists have always been surprised through the years that I don't have anxiety, because most people with depression have anxiety. So yeah, it's interesting. Most people with depression do, and sometimes when I'm manic, I feel anxiety, but it's only happened maybe 2 times in like 7 years of having bipolar symptoms, so it's pretty rare for me. But I will say I've literally made a YouTube video on how to deal with anxiety, because it's very similar to how to deal with depression. Like, you go running every day, you try and eat healthy, you get enough sleep. And I think I did research for that video, but it's kind of similar self-care, how to take care of things. Love you, Lizzie. Love you too. Haha, yep, that was a fun night. I'm taking my CDL test tomorrow, and I'm going to be a city bus driver. Aw, I like your wall. What icons do you have on your wall? So this is an icon of Jesus in the Last Supper. This is Michael, the Archangel. This is Jesus in various parts of his life, like carrying the cross, on the cross, Mary, and then this is his ascension into heaven with the disciples. And then, is that in frame? Yeah, this one over here is Jesus just standing, like Jesus alive, but there's a cross behind him, and he's like holding a lamb. So yeah, and then I have an icon, you guys can't see it, but there's an icon of Mary over there on my live stream. Do your parents ever ask you about the Catholic faith? So it's very cringy with my parents talking about Catholicism, because they don't like that I'm Catholic. They blame my boyfriend for me being Catholic, which is ridiculous because I converted before we started dating. Yeah, so it's really touchy. It's something that hurts them. So I try not to talk about it as much as possible. So they don't ever ask questions about it, I would say. I try to bring it up to kind of like be like, oh, I'm making this video. Oh, this happened at my Bible study. Oh, I recently made 100 videos proving that Catholicism is the original church that Jesus established. So I try to like throw in breadcrumbs, but I don't really know. I mean, I pray all the time that they'll convert, but seems like Our Lady of Perpetual Help would go well on the wall. Where do you get your icons from? Are they pricey? I love them, but they can be expensive. So my boyfriend has gotten me icons. He used to live in Nashville, and there is a like 3-story Catholic bookstore there called St. Mary's Bookstore. And that is where my icons are from, but they're also online. So yes, they can be pricey, but honestly, like most room decor is pricey. So I think it's a great thing to invest in. Okay, super chat. David, thank you so much for the donation. Hi, Lizzie. As always, thank you for all you do for everyone. You inspire me. Your enthusiasm creates positive motivation for me on my Catholic spiritual path. Please add me to your prayer list. Aw, what prayer requests do you have, and I will add you? Why does it seem like Protestants don't care about history? Because Protestants go by scripture alone. They're only focused on the Bible, but they are focused on history, just a different type of history. So like in the Pepperdine religion department, we learned about the Greco-Roman Empire and Second Temple Judaism, which is Judaism at the time of Jesus. And so we learned a lot of history. We just don't learn the history of Christianity. We learn the history that existed around the time when the Bible was being written, and that's it. So we do learn history. We learn a lot of history. We learn about the cultural context of the Bible, but not of like early Christianity necessarily. So that's the difference. How can I keep things organized? I find myself to be very disorganized in my apartment with my stuff. I actually don't have advice on how to get organized. I think for my personality, I am like an ESTJ with Myers-Briggs, and I'm really good at organizing, and it's just intuitive. Like the way my drawers are arranged is like super organized. Like I do like the folding method, and like if you saw my drawers, you'd be like, wow, that's overkill with how I organize everything. But hey, Lizzie, I just want to say I'm so happy because I've been doing the St. Therese novena and I got my rose today. Oh, I'm so happy. Lizzie, I wanted to speak with you about my run-in with one of the fathers. I've come in contact with. Do you have any contact information? I do not have social media. I don't know what you're talking about at all. Our church is closed down, like here in California. Yes, California is closed down. So I had to block the same person who I always have to block on here. So ridiculous. Are there any specific signal graces you've had that you remember? So I've actually been praying about that. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but a lot of saints will always talk about like getting graces, and I don't even know what it's talking about. And maybe I should 2 years into being Catholic, but I literally have read Saint Teresa's autobiography, and she talks about it in it, and I was literally praying to her and asking her to help me understand it. So maybe eventually I will. Wow, I'm an ENTP debater on Myers-Briggs. Yeah, so we would probably have very intense interactions together. I've been getting a lot recently. I'm getting confirmed next week, so it's very encouraging. Okay, I'm glad you're getting graces. I don't know if I've ever gotten graces. So, hi, I'm from San Diego. Hello, Lizzie. If you ever get a chance, you should search up a video on YouTube on St. Augustine's Church. That was the church I went to when I was living in Brooklyn, New York. It's a really beautiful church. Sorry, I just shook everything. Let me look up Brooklyn, New York, St. Augustine. The first thing that came up was a pizza shop. St. Augustine Roman Catholic Church. Cool. The next time I'm in New York, I'll definitely go, which probably won't be for a while because I can't travel because of COVID. I love your personality and how you evangelize. Hi, Town Joshua. How are you doing? Our churches are open, but I have no idea. I might go to the Adoration Chapel tomorrow because it's quieter, less people. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Hi, Lizzie. How do you tell someone that you believe in Catholic sexual ethics without being called a homophobe or anti-woman? So I think this is a really good time to figure out who your real friends are, because I think we're dealing with a culture that is hyper liberal where a lot of people are intolerant of other viewpoints. So if people in your life will literally say you're homophobic, you're misogynistic because you believe what the Catholic Church teaches, I don't think they're real friends. And I know that sounds really harsh to think that you could actually lose friends or family members by agreeing with the Catholic Church, but I think that's a huge possibility and likelihood if you agree with Catholic Church teaching. So like for me, I told people in my life, like one of my friends who is gay, I told her my position on it, and she said she doesn't like my position, but she's still friends with me and respects it. So that's like a true friend in my life who's not going to ditch me because we have different perspectives on a complicated issue. But when it comes to the birth control teaching, that's caused the most tension. And I honestly just have dialogues about it. And I explain how we do have natural family planning that people use. You don't have to have like 15 kids. The church isn't, like Pope Francis said it himself, you don't have to populate like rabbits. So I try to engage in conversations about sexual ethics and really listen and like let the other person rant before you talk to make them feel understood. So I hope that helps, but you might lose friends over becoming Catholic. I mean, not even with the sexual ethics, but so many things, like so many people lose friends and family members over becoming Catholic. So hi, Lizzie. Did I miss the part about mania and the dark night of the soul? No, we can go back to talking about it for sure. Lizzie, do you specifically ask for prayer? Saint Dipna is the patron saint for people who suffer with mental illness and are emotionally disturbed. So I actually don't pray to Saint Dipna because she's not the saint of bipolar disorder. She's the saint of like depression and anxiety, which is great. And I love that people have her as a saint. But I don't feel understood at all by someone who just has depression or anxiety. Like they have zero lived experience of what it's like having bipolar disorder. So I don't pray to her. Like I don't feel connected to her. There's this heretic named Origen who I'm pretty sure had bipolar disorder, just like reading about his life and his experiences. So he's a heretic though, so I can't pray to him. I wish he had, he believed that everyone would be saved, even the demons, even Satan. So unfortunately, he's not. The to populate like rabbits sounded so funny, but so true. Yeah, so one of my friends had rabbits and he was telling me that they actually can be pregnant at the same time. Like one rabbit, not with twins, but they have like two separate wombs basically. So when I learned that, I was like, oh, like I super get what Pope Francis was trying to say. Hey, Lizzie, big fan. What is your philosophy on how Catholics should wear their faith when interacting with non-believing friends or in secular work environments? Are you talking about jewelry? So I have some pretty intense Catholic jewelry. I'll be right back. I'll show you guys. And I would never wear it in situations where I'm interacting with Protestants. So like here is a giant cross that I was given at an event I spoke at, and just like look at how big this thing is. This is so vulgar is the wrong word, but it like pops too much. So I would never wear this. Here's another cross I have. I would not even wear this cross. So when it comes to wearing Catholicism and when it comes to like wearing a scapular under your clothes, so obviously when I'm filming my YouTube videos or with friends or going to mass, I will wear like my Mary medals and stuff. Even Mary medals I would never wear around my family. So I try to be chill when I'm around non-Catholics, not wearing like Catholic shirts either. Like I have Our Lady of Guadalupe and Our Lady Queen of Heaven. Like I accidentally left my Our Lady Queen of Heaven t-shirt at my sister's apartment. And she brought it back to me when we were at Christmas with my parents. And my mom and her were like freaked out by the t-shirt. So I was thinking, yeah, not doing that again. What are your thoughts on veils? So I wish every woman veiled at mass and had to veil. I wish it was mandated and that everyone did it. Because I wish I could veil, but I would literally be the only person. I would stand out and it would just look so awkward to other people. And so I obviously don't want to stand out at all. And I don't want to make it like all about me, which I know veiling is the opposite. It's supposed to be about humility and submission. But because no one veils, it's difficult to know what to do about it. And so I know if I went to Latin Mass, which I don't like Latin Mass as much as Novus Ordo, but if I did go to Latin Mass all the time, I would veil all the time. So like I was thinking about this literally today. It's interesting that you've asked this question, just because when people meet the Pope, they have to veil. And so it doesn't make sense that when you meet the Pope, you veil, but when you meet Jesus physically in the Eucharist, you don't veil. Like it doesn't make sense at all. Like Jesus is so much above the Vicar of Christ. And so, yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Wear a bandana type headwear or headband, it's subtle, but then that's not a veil. I wish women would wear more clothes. I would be cool with just that. What? Hi, Liz. My friend from church was recently told by a psychiatrist she's bipolar. She has reacted negatively, especially since he said the psychiatrist was being aggressive about it. How can I support her? Honestly, I don't know how to support bipolar people who refuse their diagnosis. I was very adamant about getting my diagnosis. So I fought with psychiatrists. I said, you're wrong, to a psychiatrist who said I wasn't bipolar. I like basically did all the research and diagnosed myself. I saw the depression and manic episodes in myself. And so I don't know what to do if someone doesn't believe their diagnosis, because I believe my diagnosis so strongly. I argued and debated it and proved it to psychiatrists. And that's why I'm diagnosed bipolar. So I had the opposite experience. So it's a huge problem where people don't believe they're actually bipolar and don't agree with the diagnosis and everything. So what's a good way to contact you? Do you have an email? Yes, my email is lizziesanswers@gmail.com. Do you think there will be clothing in heaven? Oh my goodness, when I make a modesty video eventually, I should talk about that. Wait, I need to write this down. So C.S. Lewis, he has a book called The Great Divorce, and it talks about going to heaven. And in heaven, some people wore clothes and some people didn't. So ultimately, in the Garden of Eden before the fall, they weren't wearing clothing and they weren't ashamed of it. So heaven, like we say the prayer, the glory be to the Father and to the Son and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. So I just think of that prayer, how what was going on in the garden in the beginning is going to be in heaven, where we have that amount of closeness with God and with each other. So I think I like the idea that some people will be wearing clothes for like decor purposes and other people will not. That makes sense. I've been diagnosed bipolar over 10 years. It would be weird if it were like Eden. Hi, Lizzie. I keep missing your live stream, so I'm happy I caught one. Oh, sorry, you guys. I just missed this. No! I keep moving it around. Hi, Vince. Thank you so much. Veiling is the way you imitate Our Lady. Exactly. Because during all her apparitions, what is your favorite incense scent? I love incense. I don't know if there's different types of incense. I'm not aware of that. Hi, Lizzie. Sorry I missed the Bible study earlier. It's okay. We missed you. Time zone got messed up. Are you reading St. John the Cross, Dark Night of the Soul? No, but Trevor is supposed to give me his copy of St. John of the Cross, and I'm supposed to read it. So that might actually be the next thing that I read. I've always debated with myself over whether there will be clothing in heaven. Glad this came up. Does the Bible say that hair is a woman's veil? When Paul talks about veiling in 1 Corinthians, he tells women to veil. I made a whole video about veiling. I'll add it to the chat. I talked in depth about the history of veiling and women veiling. Lizzie's answers. Do I veil at Mass?
Women are not being completely silent.
Where are we? Oh, here the stream is. Okay, here you go, guys. I linked my video where I talked about the history of veiling, the biblical basis for veiling, all of that. Do you prefer Latin Mass or Novus Ordo Mass? I just said I prefer Novus Ordo Mass. At my parish, veils, incense are something you see often. People think my parish is like the Vatican or something. That's so funny. Who missed Bible study? Vince says Google account missed Bible study. Hi, Lizzie. Do you watch Taylor Marshall's videos? Yes, I was watching his videos yesterday. Hey, Lizzie, how are you? Good. How are you? You never answered my question. Sorry, I did not see it. How to read the Bible more often. Just commit to reading the Bible every single day. And if you look on the USCCB website, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, they have the scripture readings for every single day. And so just read the scripture readings for every single day on the USCCB website. I think that's a really good way to read the Bible more often. Do you think we should hate Satan, or is that against the love we are called to have for one another? I don't know. I think you don't need to actively feel anger and resentment and hate all the time towards Satan. I feel like that's not how you should be using your time and everything. Hope you're doing well, Lizzie. Can't wait to wish you a happy birthday in a few days. Yes, I'm turning 26 next Wednesday. I'm so excited. What is the greatest joy of being in the Catholic Church? Getting to receive the Eucharist, which I haven't for months, but that's okay. I will eventually. I went my whole life without it. And then I attended a Mass for a year before receiving the Eucharist. So eventually I will get to again. I read a little of Maccabees today. What do you think Satan is doing right now? Tempting people. Have you tried reading a Thai Bible? I find that reading an Italian one helps me to learn the language. So I was able to read Thai and sing in Thai just because when I was in Thailand, it was through Churches of Christ, which is the church that I grew up in. So we would sing the same songs in Thailand that we would sing in America. So I was able to sing the songs and learn them, but I couldn't read the Bible in Thai. That would take a lot of practice. When you're mentally in a dark place, how do you turn to your faith for strength, stay close to Christ, daily struggle? Just commit to praying every single day. So something I shared a while ago that I do is I set a timer on my phone for like 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and at night and just pray out loud to God just for those few minutes. And that alone will be good enough to get you closer to God and stronger in that relationship. Jesus says the people in heaven have white robes. Jesus had clothes when he ascended into heaven. Interesting. Your birthday is on Saint Mary Magdalene's feast day. Yes. Yeah. I think it's really cool because my middle name is Marie. So who do you think he's tempting, everyone? Do you still feel the need to veil your hair throughout the day? No. Lizzie, can you please reply my DM on Instagram when you finish the live stream? I am something, and I was waiting for your reply since we were talking about the Bible studies. I'm so sorry. I get so many DMs on Instagram. How about comment on my recent photo, and then I will probably see that in my notifications on Instagram. What tools do you use to understand the Bible? So I have the Little Rock Catholic Study Bible over here. I find it really amazing because it has so many study notes in it. But like I was saying before, I really recommend the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops websites because they have the daily scripture readings and they pick New Testament readings that go along with the Old Testament readings that just interact with each other really well. What is your favorite way to pray? Just impromptu talking to God. I love to pray out loud, but I don't like that people hear my prayers. God, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't like when people hear my prayers either. So I will pray in my head or really quiet. So I agree with that. Jesus says to pray in a closet. So I write my prayers. Is that okay? Yes, I went through such a long phase growing up of writing out prayers. I don't do it as much anymore, but I should probably start again, get a journal and everything. Do you think Satan tempts directly, or do you think he has a horde of demonic mediators? I mean, there's so many demons. Like, there's a third of the angels left heaven and are demons now, so there's a lot of them out there. How is Satan able to tempt us? Like, how does God allow it? God has an active will and a permissive will, so his permissive will allows evil to happen. If we invite you to share your testimony here in Guatemala, would you accept it? Yes, I would love to come to Guatemala. So my dad actually lived in Guatemala for a year or two. He was teaching at a missionary school there, and my sister has been there as well. I used to support a World Vision girl who was living there, and then she grew up. So Guatemala is really special for me. I would love to go. Also, someone from my college started a nonprofit there, like an orphanage called More Than Compassion, and I donated to that for a long time. So I'm like I feel very close to Guatemala of countries around the world. Hey, how are you? Lizzie, hi. What do you think of TFP Student Action traveling to every state capital to pray the rosary? I don't know what that is. Lizzie, why is your chair so squeaky? I'm sorry, you guys. Pray for my wedding. I'm supposed to get married soon, but it is really annoying. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm supposed to get married soon, but the city has a cease and desist order against all church services, no option for safe distancing. That's so sad. I feel really bad for people who their weddings got canceled and everything. That's really sad. I think God permits temptation because if he didn't, we would just be his puppets. We wouldn't really exist. So interesting. I love you all. Pray ceaselessly, Mike. I think Satan tempts us, but some temptations come from other people or our own desires. Yeah, in James, it talks about how temptation comes from our own desires that are tempting us. So can we as Catholics use a kind of devotionary for rite every day? I don't know what that means. I'm off for a pint with Aquinas. Keep up the good work. Bye. Have fun with that. TFP is awesome. You should check out their YouTube. They have less than 100,000 subs, I think. If you were a demon, what would be your name? I don't know. That's a really, really weird question. Do you like the original Dewey Reams Bible? It's an English Catholic Bible made from the Latin Vulgate. I do not like it at all because in my Bible study, sometimes people have that translation and it's so different from every other translation. And it's like you don't even know where they are in the Bible and you get so confused and everything. Do you worry about your Protestant family member's salvation? Yes, I wouldn't say worry about it, but I would say am vigilant about it. So I pray a lot. And I think originally when I became Catholic, I think the people who were helping to convert me into Catholicism never once told me you could go to hell if you don't convert or your salvation is at stake. No one ever told me that. None of my friends, none of my YouTube subscribers, not in my RCIA. Like when I was converting, no one was like, an additional reason to convert is because you could go to hell. It was just like, oh, the Catholic Church is beautiful, which I think is a great evangelism strategy. I think you should be talking about how beautiful the Catholic Church is, but there wasn't that fear at all. And I think we should fear God and we should fear hell. Like even people who are practicing Catholics, because you could stop being a practicing Catholic and lose that salvation. So I think because no one was like that, I was never like that with my family and friends, but as I've studied more and more, I've realized that it's actually like a huge question mark, the salvation of Protestants in our lives. Like we don't know if they're going to heaven or hell. We really don't know. And so you should be really vigilant about praying a lot for them. Have you started drinking alcohol since becoming Catholic? So actually the opposite. I used to drink. I was 21 before I became Catholic. But then I stopped drinking because alcohol is a depressant, so it makes me go into depression with my bipolar, so that's why I don't drink. Any advice for people trying to get into regular morning prayer routines? Any go-to prayers to help form the habit? So I literally just said this. I think you just got here. But I recommend to set a timer in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes when you wake up and to just pray. And maybe also do a Glory Be, Our Father, Hail Mary going along with that. Also St. Michael the Archangel and Hail Holy Queen. So just do all the rosary prayers once through and the St. Michael prayer. Do we still get the exception for not going to mass during COVID? Yes, I'm pretty sure the states that have opened up, you're still not like required to go to mass. Does your family watch your videos? They have in the past. My sister sometimes shows her videos to her friends because they think it's hilarious how different we are. But I don't think my family currently watches my videos at all because I'll mention things from my videos and they won't know what I'm talking about. So I don't think they watch my videos. Yes, set a timer to pray in the morning. What's the second live stream Lizzie's on? It's on my YouTube channel. What do I do if I'm struggling with my faith? Read theology and read your Bible more, and I think that will center you and prove the faith. So definitely read outside resources besides the Bible as well, like the Catechism, different saints' theology books. The Chosen is really good. Everyone's trying to get me to watch The Chosen. I don't understand. I don't watch TV, you guys, at all. Have you ever delved into the spiritual life, St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of Avila, or St. Faustina? I've read St. Teresa of Avila's Interior Castle. I want to read St. John of the Cross next, and I have not read St. Faustina's Diary. Father Chad is a boss. You need to watch him, Lizzie. I will screenshot this and look it up. Are you familiar with Our Lady of Civitavecchia? No, I've never heard of that before. What is the best theology book to start out with? Church History by Eusebius. I will put it in the chat, the name. It's really cheap on Amazon. I think it's like $12 or something. Church History It basically introduces you to all of the early church, all of the church fathers, the martyrdoms, the heresies, the popes, like the bishops, everything in the early church it introduces you to. So you'll read the book and it'll give you like a big outline of everything you need to know. But I also made an entire video of book recommendations that I have. I also have an Amazon shop. If you Google Lizzie's Answers Amazon shop. Yay! My video's monetized! Surprise! Rare occurrence. Okay, so I just linked in the chat my video, top 20 Catholic books to read that I recommend, but definitely start with church history. And in that video, that sounds like a great book. Yeah. The Chosen is worth the watch. Oh my goodness, you guys are not going to convince me. I do not have time to have hobbies besides YouTube. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Paolo. So your family is still Protestant? Yes, my parents and my sister are Protestant. I think eventually they will convert for sure. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Paolo. What's your favorite Marian apparition? My favorite Marian apparition is definitely Our Lady of Lourdes. We were talking last night about how much I love Saint Bernadette and how she was so sick and poor, but Mary chose her to appear to, which is similar in Fatima, where Mary appeared to young children who were poor. So glad I subscribed, Lizzie. I converted to Catholicism when I was 20, long ago. I admire the blank out of Catholic traditions. I don't understand why being in the church is so important to salvation. Jesus never mentions it. He only ever talks about charity. So I will link to you my video talking about the salvation of non-Catholics. Because throughout church history, it was really important really early on to be part of the church. So where is the video? Non-Catholics, let's see. Here we go. No salvation outside the church.
Catholic merch. I have.
Okay, I put it in the chat. I really recommend watching that video. As Catholics, we do not go by sola scriptura. So basically, when Jesus was on earth and preaching, the church hadn't started yet. The church started at Pentecost in Acts chapter 2. And so in Acts, it talks about the start of the church. And they weren't asking the questions then of the salvation of non-Christians. These questions came up after the start of the church during church tradition and church history. So what Jesus talks about, it's kind of it's not irrelevant, but when we're talking about who's saved, those questions came later. I recommend the Diary of Saint Faustina. She's the first canonized saint of the century. She helps you fly into higher spirituality. Okay, I think I will. It's more than just a hobby, Lizzie. It's like watching the Gospels come alive. As a Bible lover, you'll love The Chosen. I had a dream about a Protestant woman being in heaven. Do you believe it's possible a Protestant can be in heaven? Yes, it's totally possible. So I just linked my video talking about the salvation of non-Catholics. In the Catechism, it says, those who, through no fault of their own, do not know of Christ or his church may obtain eternal salvation. So it does not say will obtain eternal salvation. It says may. It's a question mark. It's not saying absolutely not non-Catholics are all condemned to hell. It's not saying absolutely all non-Catholics will be in heaven. So it's a question mark. But I really recommend watching that video. I went really, really in depth on the topic. Do you think the Greek philosophers are saved like Plato and Aristotle? I absolutely hope so, because I feel like they predicted Christianity in a lot of ways. Can we have a close-up of your icon wall? Yes. I can move the camera. And then over here, we have Mary. Does listening to the Rosary Prayer on YouTube still count? Yes, absolutely. I think it still counts and is still a beautiful way to pray the Rosary, to just listen to it. Because ultimately, like, there's a lot going on throughout the day, and so I think it totally makes sense to be listening to it in the background rather than praying. Like, think about if you were like a mom, like a stay-at-home mom who's homeschooling and had so many kids. Maybe the only free time you have is when you're like mopping the floor or doing the dishes or like breastfeeding your baby, and you can't physically pray the rosary. So I think that's a really, really good option. Glad I'm here. Love your videos. Oh, cool. I will check the Chosen. Do you think Confucius is saved? I hope so. I hope everyone is saved. We can pray for all their souls. I want you to talk about bipolar. What questions do you have about it? The actor playing Jesus in The Chosen is Catholic, and he hosts live stream rosaries and DMCs. That's so cool. How do you keep your focus on Jesus as an influencer? I think keeping close friends in your life to ground you is really, really important. And I think in general, I don't have that many friends. I have, like, I can count on my fingers the amount of friends I have who I like consistently keep up with and hang out with and visit. And so it's not many people. And so I think because of that, I can stay really grounded. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Dave Patrick. Absolutely wrong. So Wilbur spews heresy here. Unpopular opinion. Non-Christians won't go to hell if they're not believers. They won't be condemned either, but they will, however, be stuck in purgatory. So everyone in purgatory ends up in heaven. So it's completely heretical to say they'll just be in purgatory, because everyone in purgatory is saved automatically and will end up in heaven. Raul Romero, thank you for the donation. Oh, it's a banana. So Instagram people, we have an inside joke on my YouTube channel where anytime someone donates money, it's going towards my bananas, because I love making banana smoothies and banana pancakes. And in my oatmeal, it's just I eat bananas every day. So at Trader Joe's, they're 19 cents for a banana. So we always calculate like how many bananas people, because like this person donated $1.49. So that's like 1, 2, 3... 15 divided by 60 is 4. Anyways, it's like 15 bananas or something. So it's like, yay. So you feel like your dollar's actually going to a lot, you know? What are your thoughts on Catholic Twitter? So Catholic Twitter hates me a lot. I made a whole video reacting to hate from Catholic Twitter because it got too much, and I think it shut a lot of people up. But people go after me a lot, I think, because I'm not a trad. I prefer Novus Ordo, and I'm not as like conservative and fundamentalist and extreme, as Taylor Marshall says, as a lot of other people. So I think because of that, there's a lot of clashing going on. What is required to get to purgatory at least? So participating in the sacraments is really important. So going to mass every week and going to regular confession as well. Do you follow Dr. Taylor Marshall? Yes, I do. I love him a lot. What's the best way to evangelize Protestants? Praying every single day. Pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. Have you heard the amazing story of Saint Maria Goretti? I just watched a doc on YouTube about this amazing little girl. Catholic Twitter is so toxic. Oh yeah, Catholic Twitter is crazy. I really enjoy a lot of it, but the drama is real. Chosen has very good reviews by Catholic priests. Okay, so my problem with Catholic Twitter, I didn't even know what Catholic Twitter was for a long time. Like, there were people following me who would be like, Catholic Twitter, and I was like, what? So then one of my friends was getting a book published, and originally I was going to be part of it, but it ended up being too much of a conservative slant, so I didn't want to be part of it anymore. But I liked the guy, and I wanted, not like liked him, but I liked who he was as a person, you know, and was trying to like help him out with his book. So I tweeted on Twitter, what are good trad accounts on Twitter, Catholic trad accounts on Twitter, asking for a friend? And I was literally asking for my friend. And so everyone commented down accounts. And so I went to all these accounts, DM'd them, asked them if they wanted to be part of a book, and followed a lot of these people, and they followed me back. And so I became acquainted with like the extremist realm of Twitter. And because of that, I started getting a lot of problems. Before that, I wasn't at all. Is it still considered a mortal sin? This is important. To not go to mass every week now that we have the pandemic. Yeah. So you have to check your individual diocese, but probably for every single diocese, the obligation is lifted and it's not a mortal sin to not go to mass because the pandemic is happening, even when masses have started opening up. Just because for a lot of people with pre-existing conditions, it's dangerous to go to mass. So it's not required at all. Mark says, I'm late. I had to put mom in the hospital, missed adoration and mass, prayer request for mom. Absolutely. What's going on with her? You need to write a book. I need to focus on getting published. I should do that this year. What do you think of dating a pastor, but I'm devoted to the Catholic Church? Thoughts, please. So I recommend only dating Catholics because the whole point of marriage is helping the other person get to heaven, and more importantly, maybe not more importantly, but very importantly, raising Catholics in the church and educating them. So that's so important, raising children. And so if you want to raise your kids Catholic and help your kids get to heaven, help yourself and your spouse get to heaven, it's just important to be on the same wavelength when it comes to the faith. But you can convert someone. Oh my gosh, I got a donation on my YouTube. Thank you so much for the donation. So this person's name is John Leaps for Joy, and it's John the Baptist leaping in Elizabeth's womb upon meeting Mary and Jesus. Thank you so much for the donation. That's so sweet. So, what were we talking about? Oh, so people can convert. So if you're with someone who you trust immensely and you think is humble and intellectual and able to change, then date them anyways, and maybe they'll end up converting, who knows. Her blood count has dropped to 4.8 and they're having to give her blood through IVs. What is the dark night of the soul? Mimi says. So, hi. The dark night of the soul is when you lose all connection with God and all sense of who God is, and you go into complete darkness. And so it goes from feeling everything to feeling nothing. And a lot of saints experience this throughout their life, like Mother Teresa, St. John of the Cross, where they were doing so much work for God, but they didn't feel his presence at all. And it was like complete agony. So it's just like being in a depression and not feeling God. I don't think that every time someone is in a dark night of the soul, they're in depression, but definitely every time someone's in depression, they're in the dark night of the soul. Who did you vote for in 2012, Obama or Romney? I voted for Obama, and I campaigned for him too, also in 2008. Hi, Lizzie. I know this probably doesn't have anything to do with what you're talking about, but when you say delivery jobs are probably one of the best jobs to take as a learning experience, I don't know. I would say not delivery jobs, but probably like working in a store or a restaurant and having to interact with people all the time, I think would be a really good learning experience. I'm pretty sure she voted for Obama. I would probably put money on it. Do you listen to Christian bands? Yes. I listen to people like The Afters, 10th Avenue North. I'm on my phone. Let's see what type of Christian bands I listen to as well. I listen to a lot of secular music as well. Well, first of all, Cimarelli has a worship album called Alive that is so beautiful that I love a lot. That's so good. So, yes. Also, there's a band called I Am They that's really good that has Christian music on it. So, The Afters, 10th Avenue North, I Am They are really good. What are some examples of extreme Catholics? Not necessarily names, but curious what makes them extreme. So I would say people who don't consider Pope Francis the real Pope. I think that like several popes ago, it stopped being the real Pope. And so the Catholic Church currently isn't the real church. So that's extreme. And then I would also say people who hate Vatican II, which ushered in the modern church, people who just like hate it so much. that's extreme because it brought so much good coming out of it. And obviously, like, there were mistakes with how it was, not mistakes in the council. Obviously, that's part of the teaching magisterium. But the way the decisions of the council were carried out, there were some mistakes there. But I think in general, it was very, very, very good. So people who hate Vatican II, don't think Pope Francis is the real Pope, who just hate Pope Francis and everything he does is horrible, sort of like subliminally racist probably. So those are some things that make people extreme. And when they think that Novus Ordo Mass is horrible and like doesn't honor God in any way, that kind of thing. Mark says, my mom is very anemic. Thank you for the prayers, Lizzie. Blessings. Absolutely. Let me make sure to screenshot this. Thank you for the donation so much. Have you heard of the American Solidarity Party? Absolutely. I follow them on Twitter. I just discovered it. It seems like an actual Catholic social teaching based political party. Would love to know your thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. So I saw them on Twitter. So people kept like tweeting it at me because people are like so obsessed with how I vote on Twitter. And so I think it's really cool that there's an actual party. Obviously, it's not like a real third party at all, but I like it for sure. Pray for Danny Cimarelli. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I watched her video. I love her new channel so much. But she's no longer a practicing Catholic. She made a video on it. Yeah, her video was really, really sad to me because she said she did so much research in converting out of Catholicism into Protestantism, which I'm really curious, like what she read, what podcast she listened to. It must have been a lot of brainwashing going on. I'm not saying that she's brainwashed, but Protestant arguments against Catholicism, they're just not based in intellectualism at all, because we have the entire church history and the tradition through the years and all the saints and like the interpretations to the Bible. So it's surprising to me that having so many Catholic siblings and a huge Catholic family, that there weren't people who were able to point her towards other resources. That's really sad to me. And I don't understand how you could have a Catholic family and end up leaving Catholicism. Like, that's terrifying. That's so sad. So I can't imagine how they feel. I hope that she's open to looking into more resources and hopefully she'll be able to convert back in. I mean, I'm hopeful that she will, just because it's objectively true. It's so obviously true that Catholicism is true. And so it's so easy to read into it and to understand. So I think eventually if she wants that intellectual aspect of her faith back, then I think she could totally end up converted back into Catholicism. I highly recommend the bands We the Kingdom, Sleeping at Last, Need to Breathe, and Future of Foresty. Lizzie, you inspired me and my friend to start a YouTube channel. We talk about you and shout out others as well. Oh, that's so sweet. Probably read Protestants Who Hate the Catholic Church. Yeah. Hi, Lizzie. Huge fan. I started watching your YouTube videos because I'm trying to understand the Catholic Church and seek truth. In one of the videos, I remember you wrote your parents a letter. How did they react? Horribly. My parents said it was as if I was in a horrible car accident and in the ICU about to die. That's how they reacted to my conversion, because they literally don't think it's Christianity. It's crazy. Has Tim Gordon helped you change any of your ideas to become more conservative? Absolutely, and I've told him and Dave and thanked them for it. I wondered about the Pope's dealing with the Pachamama. Oh my goodness, can we stop talking about that? Like, it was so annoying how during that time in my live streams, like, everyone was talking about it all the time, and that's the only thing that people wanted me to talk about. I'm thinking about becoming a Franciscan secular. I'm 54 and divorced prior to becoming Catholic. My options are very limited. What do you think, Lizzie? I think that sounds really fun. I think religious life is amazing. I honestly don't know that much about what it means to be Franciscan secular, but I think it means to be part of the order without giving all the vows or without becoming a priest and just being a layperson. I don't understand the distinctions at all. What is your favorite parable? I think my favorite parable is where the person finds a plot of land with treasure buried in it and then sells all of her possessions to the poor to buy the land with the treasure in it. and it represents the kingdom of heaven. I just think it's so dramatic how like it's a small plot of land. It doesn't look that cool, but she like discovered the gospel and she'll like leave everything else in her life, all her possessions, all her wealth to get the kingdom of heaven and to get heaven and spiritual treasure. I just thought that was really cool. It's a really basic parable, but I like it a lot. I would love to see more MBTI videos. Please, should I? I have a series on my channel. I've talked about INTJ, ESTJ, and I can make a series on INFJ and ESTP for sure. I have a series on ISTP as well. I don't think people want to watch those anymore though. Advice for new YouTube. A video up from like forever ago talking about YouTube. But my recommendations are to be really passionate about what you're doing because it can be so random which one of your videos goes viral and gets more views. So it's really important to regularly upload once or twice a week, probably twice a week. The thumbnail is the most important thing ever and the tags on the video. So go to YouTube creator space and put in a ton of tags. And my secret is to open another tab on your internet browser, go to YouTube and click in search results and then see what YouTube fills it in and then use what it fills in and puts that in your tags. I hope that makes sense because that's what people are Googling the most. My favorite parable is the Good Samaritan. It makes me so happy. Do you still think you're ESTJ? Absolutely. I'm very ESTJ. Favorite parable is the prodigal son. I was just thinking that I love the prodigal son parable so much as well. Oh, thank you. I have 3 videos up so far on the 2 little Catholics. Let me look up your channel. See, if your channel doesn't come up, that will be bad. That means you don't have good tags on your videos if your channel doesn't come up. Let's see. The 2 little Catholics, 26 subscribers. Yeah, it's the first thing that comes up. So I don't like the first 2 thumbnails. I like the 3rd thumbnail a lot. I'll subscribe to your channel. Notification bell. Everyone go subscribe to them, the 2 little Catholics. That's really sweet. Oh, also your cover art at the top is really good. Whoever designed that did a really good job.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Anna. I'm Haley.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. That's so sweet. We just filmed a rosary video. That's super cute. I'm 18 and dating someone who accepts my faith but doesn't share it. I'm so conflicted. Help. Maybe I should make a whole YouTube video here. I'm going to write down a note to make a video on this topic. Dating non-Catholics. Because I think it's so easy to convert people into Catholicism, and so you shouldn't like give up on people and like break up with them and stop being friends with people who aren't Catholic. Like we should just like pray and pray and pray and pray that they will convert into Catholicism and become Catholic. So I think that you shouldn't give up on people at all, and that you should try and make it work and see if they will end up converting. Because I think so many people end up converting. Like I've seen so many stories, read so many messages of people who have converted. So I think that you should not give up at all. Do you ever experience nightmares? Yes, I get horrible nightmares when I'm about to go manic, and then I have really mediocre dreams when I'm about to go into depression. Are you tall? Yes, I am 5'7", and I wear heels a lot. So usually I'm 5'9". Trying to share how to do bar chords, but it keeps being deleted. Yeah, I was asking in the last live stream how to do bar chords because I can't play certain songs because I haven't learned how to. One of my friends from college told me to just like hold the guitar just with my fingers up to like grow the muscle or something. So I don't know. I love my girlfriend, but she will probably be Roman Catholic for a long time. Do you mean she won't be Roman Catholic for a long time or what? Only moderators can post links. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, my Instagram is running out of time, so we're going to go on my Instagram. So if you want to keep being part of the live stream, then continue on my YouTube channel. What is your Enneagram type? So I made a video talking about Enneagrams, and I got every single result. Like, I didn't get one result. I was like the same amount on every one. So I think it's like complete BS. And yeah, I just don't like the test at all. I think it's wrong. I don't think it tells us anything about the world. So it's not a good thing. Anyways, I'm signing off on my Instagram. Go hop over to my YouTube channel if you want to continue to be part of the live stream. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! What is your Instagram? Lizzie Rize. What language can you speak? I learned Koine Greek in college, which is the language of the New Testament. So I can read and write in Greek. I know a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of Thai. And then obviously I speak mostly English is my main language. What do you think about body mortifications? Absolutely not. I hate stuff like that. I don't understand it at all. Do you ever listen to Selena Gomez? Yes, I was listening to her song, Feel Me today. It's not a sexual song at all, don't worry. It's just about feeling someone emotionally and missing them and not getting over them. It's really sweet. One of my Patreon supporters wrote the song for her, well, with her. So that's how I found out about that song. Okay, you guys, I think I'm gonna go. We've been here for an hour. I have some work I need to get done for, well, my campus ministry job for sure, because the schools are about to start up. If you guys didn't know, I do some campus ministry work at some colleges. So it's getting to mid-July, so I have to start working on all the stuff for the fall. I've been doing some stuff over the summer with them, but obviously a lot more is going to happen when their schools open up. So I just got here from Instagram. Oh, and now I'm going to go. Yeah, English and Spanish here, learning Latin. Trevor's learning Latin right now. So thanks so much for the shout out. Oh, yeah, of course. You guys are so sweet. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you. Unless someone has like a really cool question that will make me stay on, but I think I definitely want to go. Have a good dinner. Thank you. I have some cleaning to do as well before I go to bed and eat and everything tonight. Happy Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Aw. Didn't you just ask Instagram people to come here? I know, but I really want to go and do a lot of work. I think a pastor, Melissa Scott on YouTube, used to be Catholic. How do you know if a friend of yours who has bipolar still wants to be part of your life if they lost interest because they met new people? If they're just in a Ashley Swan, if you're just in a manic episode, they might not actually not want to be friends with you anymore, just because when people are manic, they can like completely break up with the person they're dating and friends with. Dating. So I feel like if you're friends with someone, it could be a similar thing where they could go manic and not want to be friends with you anymore. But then they could come down from being manic and actually want you in their life. So I think that gets really confusing. What is God's favorite dinosaur? Did you get my message on Twitter to pray for my grandfather? No, I did not get the message. Message me again for sure. And I'm pretty sure I checked Twitter today too, so I don't know what the deal is. But I get so many messages, so it's hard to go through and see everything. And I have notifications turned off on Twitter and Instagram, which a lot of people don't know. So I don't get notifications on, I don't like look at my phone and see anything from Instagram or Twitter. So that's part of why I don't get back to messages as well. Anyways, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. If you do have video requests, definitely DM me on Instagram or Twitter, because I'm running out of video ideas, because I made like over 100 Catholic videos, and I'm running out of videos to make. So I just want to say I really love your videos. Thank you for the super chat. That's so sweet. Have you ever heard of Zachary King, the ex-satanic wizard who converted to Catholicism through the miraculous medal? My fave is the list sheet. My greetings are so late. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I love you guys a lot, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!